A very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on BeeTv News Update at 3. My name is Harmony Agbafor and now to the news in details. The National Commission for Museums and Monuments, National Museum Benin, Edo State has officially opened an exhibition of repatriated Benin artifacts with the theme Restitution in Motion. The exhibition showcases Benin broses returned from across the world, now on display for public viewing at the National Museum of Benin. BeeTv News Best Orator has details. Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malam Lanre Isaonilu, has said that Nigeria's security challenges affect all citizens, irrespective of political affiliation or religious belief. He made the remark during the November edition of the National Joint Security Press Briefing in Abuja, while responding to recent comments made by United States President Donald Trump. The NOA Director General also confirmed that the federal government is already taking concrete measures to tackle insecurity challenges in various parts of the country. Speaking on the agency's role in anti-corruption and counter-terrorism efforts, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission stated that it does not have the jurisdiction to disclose the identities of individuals sponsoring terrorism. The report.
The issue between Chief and Jukuns, for instance, those are two Christian ethnic groups. And the killings have been going on forever. And the two sides are Christians. But when you talk of what is going on in Safara, Katsina, Sokoto, all the way to Niger, these are Muslim-dominated areas. So the deaths will also be more of Muslims. So what we have in this country is challenge of insecurity, of terrorists, of bandits, of kidnappers.
Our job is to ensure that funds that are traced to any kind of terror activities, our job is to make sure that we track those funds, we block those funds, and we make it impossible for any terrorist activity, to be consummated through such funds. And that we are doing. But we might not be able to tell you who and who know. The act that empowers us to do that does not empower us, to come with the full identities. It is an intelligence thing, and the commission is not empowered to do that.
The All Progressive Congress in Delta North has endorsed the proposed creation of Anioma State, which is expected to become the sixth state in Nigeria's southeast geopolitical zone. In a letter to the chairman of the Senate Subcommittee on State Creation, Senator Mohammed Taher Monguno, the APC Delta North chairman Adizwe Eloaka stated that Anioma is fully prepared for statehood. He described the initiative as one driven by fairness and the need for national balance, noting that the Southeast remains the only geopolitical zone in Nigeria with 5 states. Eloaka praised Senator Ned Nwoko for championing the renewed campaign for the creation of Anioma State, saying the efforts would correct long-standing historical imbalances and honor the legacy of prominent Anioma figures such as Dennis Osadebe. He added that the establishment of Anioma State would strengthen unity, equity, and development while resolving decades of identity struggles experienced by the Anioma people. The APC Delta North stated that the proposal enjoys the full support of its members and urged President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly to take the necessary steps to actualize the creation of Anioma states. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amupiton, says the commission is committed to conducting a free, fair and credible election in the November 8 Anambra State governorship polls. He gave the assurance at the signing of the peace accord by 16 candidates participating in the election in Oka.
It is the second signing of peace accord by the 16th candidates contesting the November 8th governorship election in Anambra State. The chairman of the National Peace Committee represented at the event sets the tone for the exercise as all candidates to uphold the principle in the court and conduct themselves peacefully before, during and after the polls. The sign of the peace accord has become a key feature of Nigeria's electoral process since 2015, a mechanism designed to promote credible election and prevent violence or post-election unrest.
The signing of this peace accord is solemn declaration that the peace, security and dignity of the people of Anambra State must remain paramount.
The Inspector General of Police issued a strong warning to non-state actors, including the state-owned security outfit IBAI, to stay away from election duties.
Resolute that under no circumstances would criminality be permitted to masquerade as political expression. The peace of Anambra State is not negotiable. Our mandate is to deliver credible elections, and we reaffirm our resolve to combat vote buying. Any individual or groups planning to subvert the will of the people will be firmly confronted with the strong hands of the law. The Inspector General of Police and other agents of state that are concerned with our security who are doing wonderfully well in supporting this process. The confidence of the citizens is strengthened when institutions carry out their duties with fairness and honor.
Like I said at the beginning, if each of us commits to implementing seriously the terms of this agreement, if you are planning, anyone is planning violence, if anyone is planning rigging, if anyone is planning any other way that is not within the ambit of the Electoral Act and the INEC guidelines and the rule of law, as it were, please repent.
From the new INEC chairman, maintaining election integrity is a shared responsibility that requires the cooperation of all citizens. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
Governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. Vice President Kashim Shettipa led top APC stakeholders to Yenogwa for the governor's official defection ceremony. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, Governors Dapo Abiodun, Lucky Orimiso Ayedatiwa, Sheriff Oborewori, Hope Uzodinma, and Awka State Governor Umo Basi Eno all attended the ceremony. The event marks a major political shift in Bayelsa, long considered a stronghold of the PDP Governor's Diri. Defection comes amid a wave of movement by prominent politicians from the PDP to the APC ahead of the 2027 elections. The report.
That progress can only be guaranteed when we stand together. When we answer the call of our people, you spoke eloquently, succinctly, highlighting the positive attributes that has come the way of his own nation since the coming into being of the present administration.
Everybody, Senate President, you cannot be the only one out. Bayelsa cannot be the only odd state. And I also believe that as kids and kings, we must also be together. But more importantly is the politics of development. If we have a president that loves the Ijaw people, that loves Bayelsa and have shown that sign from the beginning, then I have no reason to remain in a sinking ship.
National Chairman Abdul Rahman Mohammed has taken charge at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, is vowing to reposition the PDP and restore internal unity. But behind the celebrations, a Wadata Plaza lies deep division and political intrigue that have rocked Nigeria's main opposition party in recent months. The report.
It was a scene filled with chants, banners and loud cheers as Abdul Rahman Mohammed arrived at the PDP headquarters flanked by supporters who hailed him as the man to heal the party. He was received by the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, who led him on a symbolic tour of the complex, marking a beginning of what insiders describe as a new order. Abdul Rahman's emergence follows weeks of tension and rival claims to leadership between factions loyal to Ambassador Ilia Damagu and those calling for reform within the party. The crisis deepened after the suspension of key National Working Committee members, exposing the cracks in a once formidable political movement that ruled Nigeria for 16 consecutive years.
I will do everything possible to make sure that we bring each and every one to discuss and understand why it's very important to put our hands together for the progress of this our great party and Nigeria at large. We all know the electorate are looking onto our party because this is the only party that they have hope on.
Mohammed Abdul Rahman vowed to conduct an all-inclusive national convention after pending congresses are completed, a move he says will end the blame game and restore confidence in the party's leadership. But the day was without drama. Security operative manned every corner of the secretariat, while tensions briefly flared when Senator Anyanwu was reportedly denied access to his office before being allowed in by supporters.
After our emergency meeting, coming out from the judgment of the Federal High Court, that there's a need for us to have a new change, because over the years, with the national chairman, former national chairman, having been suspended, we need to, that could not be any vacuum.
By afternoon, reports filtered in that Ambassador Damagu, leader of the rival faction, was expected to address journalists, but he was conspicuously absent. For the PDP's today's takeover signals both hope and uncertainty. Hope for a fresh start under Abdul Rahman Mohammed, and uncertainty over whether old rivalries will truly fade. One thing is clear, the battle for the soul of the People's Democratic Party is far from over. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
The Commissioner of Police alone, Olahundare Jimoh, says no protest will be allowed to hold. He said this today as he led his men to the Oronshoki area of the state. Addressing journalists, the Commissioner of Police said he has deployed officers across strategic areas, and according to him, the increased presence of police officers in those areas was due to information available to the command that some people are planning to stage a protest. The next one is the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Jalingo, has organized a joint route march with other security agencies to strengthen synergy and enhance operational cooperation. The exercise aims to foster inter-agency collaboration, improve the overall readiness of security operatives in Taraba State. The report. Moving on, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has flagged off a major digital infrastructure project that promises to transform internet connectivity and boost economic growth across the state. He performed the groundbreaking of the fiber duct infrastructure project at Abad Town Hall in Abia State. The report. News. Marvin Records founder Don Jazzy has disclosed that he is afraid of getting married, citing concerns about the rising rate of divorce and the financial losses men often face during separation. Also, Sean Paul describes Jamaica's hurricane aftermath as overwhelming. Let's join BeeTv News' Evelyn Zibili for more details and more from the entertainment world.
The award-winning music producer said he sometimes feels inspired by couples who share their happy moments online but becomes discouraged when he reads stories of failed marriages. He noted that many men lose a significant portion of their assets after marriage, especially when there is no prenuptial agreement in place. Don Jazzy, who is 41 years old, revealed that although he has been in relationships in the past, he is currently single. He added that he is in no rush to settle down and intends to wait for the right partner before making any commitment. In another development, Grammy-winning Nigerian singer Burna Boy has revealed that he has converted to Islam after years of personal reflection and spiritual searching. The Afrofusion star disclosed his decision during a Twitch live stream with U.S. content creator Playboy Max, where he discussed his upbringing and faith journey. Burna Boy explained that he was raised in a Christian family but began to question various aspects of religion as he grew older, which led him to seek deeper understanding and spiritual peace. He said his decision to embrace Islam was based on personal conviction rather than external pressures, adding that it has brought him a sense of calmness and direction. Jamaican music icon Sean Paul has described the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa as overwhelming, saying the scale of destruction across the country has left many families traumatized. The Category 5 hurricane, which struck the island last week, caused severe damage with winds reaching up to 185 miles per hour and resulted in at least 28 deaths. Sean Paul and his family were in the capital, Kingston, during the storm, while areas in the western part of Jamaica experienced the worst devastation. He said the experience was particularly distressing for his young children, who were frightened by the force of the winds and destruction around them. The reggae star called for greater humanitarian support for victims of the disaster, noting that many communities remain in urgent need of relief and rebuilding assistance. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
And now moving on to business news, a governorship aspirant in Lagos State under the People's Democratic Party, Funso Doherty, has urged the National Assembly to investigate the newly approved 15% import duty on premium motor spirits, petrol. Doherty said the policy could worsen economic hardship for Nigerians and questioned the rationale and process behind its approval. Let's join BeeTv News team Oluwafemi for more details on this and more from the business world.
The new duty was authorized by President Bola Tinubu after a proposal from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, now known as the Nigeria Revenue Service. The agency had explained that the levy was designed to support local fuel producers and help them achieve cost recovery. Doherty, however, argued that the major domestic producers, including the Dangote refinery, already benefit from tax incentives and waivers due to their location within export processing zones. He warned that adding an import duty would raise fuel costs for consumers and provide unnecessary protection for producers who already enjoy substantial fiscal benefits. He called on the Senate to review the decision to ensure that it aligns with public interest and does not further burden Nigeria struggling with rising living costs. Nigeria's financial markets opened November 2025 on a negative note as the naira and equities fell sharply following a threat by United States President Donald Trump to take military action against Nigeria over alleged religious persecution. Central Bank of Nigeria data showed that the naira weakened to 1,436.34 naira per dollar on Monday from 1,421.73 naira per dollar, a decline of 1.3% or 14.61 naira in one day. At the parallel market, the currency dropped further to 1,455 naira per dollar amid increased investor anxiety and dollar demand pressure. The market reaction followed Trump's comments over the weekend in which he accused Nigeria of religious persecution and directed the U.S. Department of War to prepare for possible action. His remarks triggered global concern about potential diplomatic and economic fallout. At the Nigeria Exchange Limited, trading turned bearish as the all-share index fell from 0.25% to close to 153,739.11 points, reducing all-share index fell by 0.25% to close at 153,739.11 points, reducing year-to-date gains to 49.37%. Market capitalization also dropped by 245.88 billion naira to 97.58 trillion naira. Market analysts attributed the losses to geopolitical tension and renewed uncertainty surrounding Nigeria's foreign relations and investment outlook. Retailers warn of fresh cooking gas shortage. Nigeria may be facing another round of cooking gas scarcity as liquefied petroleum gas retailers report dwindling supplies across the country. The warning comes just weeks after consumers began recovering from a previous shortage that led to a sharp rise in prices. Retailers said the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has become the sole major supplier of LPG to the domestic market, raising fears that any operational disruption could trigger another nationwide supply crisis. Current prices of cooking gas range between 1,200 naira and 1,500 naira per kilogram, depending on location, up from about 900 naira per kilogram before the recent industrial disputes between the refinery and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria disrupted the production. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
And now let's move on to the global scenes. Kim Jong-nam, North Korea's former ceremonial head of state, who served under 3 generations of the ruling Kim family, has died at the age of 97, state media reported. The report. North Korea's long-serving political figure Kim Jong-nam, who worked under 3 generations of the country's ruling Kim dynasty, has died at the age of 97, state media announced. According to the Korean Central News Agency, Kim died of multiple organ failure on the 3rd of November, and a state funeral has been held in his honor. He was described as an old generation revolutionary who made extraordinary contributions to the nation's development. Born during Japan's colonial rule of Korea, Kim Jong-nam began his political career in the 1950s and steadily rose through the ranks of the Workers' Party. He served as a foreign minister before becoming the president of the Supreme People's Assembly in 1998, a largely ceremonial position he held until 2019. Over the decades, Kim was one of North Korea's most visible international representatives, meeting several South Korean presidents and leading the North's delegation to the 2018 Winter Olympics in the South, where he was joined by Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong. Despite his high profile, Kim was known for his loyalty and caution, avoiding controversy throughout his career. Former North Korean diplomat Tae Yong-oh, now in South Korea, said Kim never made his own opinions known and was the perfect role model for survival in the regime. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Kim Jong-nam was never purged or demoted as power passed from Kim Il-sung to Kim Jong-il and later to Kim Jong-un. He retired from public life in 2019 after more than 6 decades of service to the state. Harmony Agbafo reporting for BeeTv News.
The 2024-2025 campaign will forever be etched in the memories of Paris Saint-Germain Fan State team finally captured the long-awaited UEFA Champions League title, completing an unprecedented quadruple that included 3 domestic trophies. It was without doubt the most glorious year in the club's 55-year history. With their performances at an all-time high, PSG star dominated world football, and their efforts have now been recognized by the peers. The FIPRO World 11 is the only global football award decided exclusively by the players themselves, making the honor even more meaningful. After the most successful season in its history, Paris Saint-Germain capped off a remarkable year with an historic showing in the 2025 FIPRO Men's World 11. For the first time ever, 5 PSG players were named to the Men's World 11, a milestone achievement for the French club. Veteran goalkeeper Manuel Neuer's Bayern Munich know how to hurt Paris Saint-Germain as the Bavarians brace for their away clash with the Champions League title holders on Tuesday. PSG won the Champions League last year at Bayern's Allianz Arena home, thumping Inter Milan 5-0, but the Bavarian Giants traveled to the Parc des Princes in incredible form. Bayern have won all 15 of their matches in all competitions so far this campaign, setting a record for the best ever start in Europe's top 5 leagues. Italian Lorenzo Musetti controls his own NATO ATP Finals qualification destiny this week in Athens as the 2025 ATP Tour season enters the final week of the regular season. Musetti, who begins the week night in the PIF ATP Live Race to Turin, must win the title at the new ATP 250 to clinch the final bet at the Elite's 8th man. An 8th doubles team season finale in Turin from 9 to 16 of November. Musetti slipped outside the courts last week in Paris when Félix Auger-Aliassime moved to 8th by reaching the final. The Canadian would have clinched the title, the final Turin spot, on Sunday. Hadis upsets Jannik Sinner. Hadis upsets Jannik Sinner in the final of the Rolex Paris Masters. And that's it on Sport News. Thanks for watching. Freeman Usawi reporting for BeeTv News.